Whoa! Oh my god, it exploded! Don't cut that out!
Hello and welcome to...
Today, we are canceling the podcast!
Canceling the podcast?
No, sorry, that was just the line. Pacific Rim, watch it, I'm in it.
Oh, because we're doing apocalypse movies today. Oh. Wow, okay. What a start we have here. Okay, so welcome to the episode. We are doing apocalypse-themed movies today. With us, we have Ben and Nehal? Or Nehal? Nehal. I should have asked that before we started recording. I realized I fucked up, but we are going to jump right into it. As usual, you guys have prepared a movie and a movie character to help describe your personality. Nehal, how about you go first?
Sure. So, the character that I guess best describes my personality would have to be Aragorn from Lord of the Rings.
Aragorn.
I think it's funny because Lord of the Rings was probably the first movie I've watched in the medieval, Middle-earth fantasy. And Aragorn really stood out to me as a character because he's this character that's really torn about his identity. He's really torn about his destiny, but he has potential to become something so much more greater. And to me, that really appealed. It was a character who could do so much more and who's torn about his own identity, but has the potential to be something greater.
Are you secretly like a prince or a king and we don't know this yet?
I don't know. I do get a lot of Nigerian prince scams.
The heir to the... No, never mind.
Yeah. And a movie?
I'd say my favorite movie is Gladiator. It goes back to the whole hero's journey. I really identify with that. I really like the complex interactions between the characters, between the main character, Maximus, who's trying to find his own destiny. And even the fight scenes are a bit exciting.
Yeah, I would say that.
Cool.
Quite exciting with tigers and such.
Awesome. Ben, how about yourself?
Okay, I did not go as personal or deep. The character I chose is Walter from the Big Lebowski. His whole deal kind of resonates with me. I get being a guy, like his whole thing where I could just see myself being him as an older gentleman, you know, and like settling in to that weirdness of like, no, everything's wrong. Everything's different. You don't get it. You don't understand. Like I can see that. I can see that happening.
I mean, that's deep in your own way.
Yeah, and I love that scene where he's like, "This is what happens." You know, like, "This is what happens. This is what happens." You know, it's really, really hilarious, and just the realization. You guys have all seen the movie, right? Like,
yeah.
You've all seen it. That realization when what?
Yeah, let's keep that off the air. I'm the only one who hasn't seen it.
Oh my god. So anyway, it's a fantastic movie, and that character is really entertaining. And then the movie that I don't know, that I want to pick, I'm gonna pick the movie Ready to Rumble. It stars one David Arquette and Scott Conn. It's an early vehicle for them, in which they play, I believe, septic tank pumpers.
Even better.
Yes?
I don't even know about this movie.
Septic tank pumpers that love pro wrestling. Absolutely love it.
This sounds familiar.
It was actually a partnership with WCW, and the movie features a lot of WCW wrestlers in it.
Okay.
And the whole thing is centered around them trying to meet Jimmy the King. And there's it's hilarious. And he raps, you know, I'm the king of wrestling.
This is totally you.
It's so
knowing
good.
who you are, this is totally you.
I love it. It's so dumb, and they love wrestling, and that resonates with me more than I care to admit. And yeah, really good.
On a slightly related note, WWE's been starting to make a lot of movies recently,
Yeah.
and they made Jason Momoa did his first directorial debut, which was actually pretty good, I will say. So
that was also a post-apocalyptic movie, wasn't it? Or am I thinking of a
Which
different
one was that? Which
No.
They've put up so many.
ones,
Which
the right
WWE movie was
Never
it?
mind.
It's the only one with Jason Momoa that I know of.
Anyway, name it.
We'll find out the name.
Link in the description.
Right. Yeah.
Sure, let's make another promise that I won't fulfill. On that note, I said in the last episode that we'd have cards in the YouTube video that would magically bring you to the future episode or future sections of the podcast. I don't know how to do that. But in the description, I'm going to put the time codes of what the segments are so you can skip ahead if you want. On today's episode, speaking of Apocalypse episode, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be putting together teams to save the world. We're going to be talking about Armageddon and Deep Impact, and we're also going to be creating our own zombie outbreaks.
We can be heroes.
Already not looking forward to that conversation.
Boom.
So we're going to jump right into our first segment. Paulo, go ahead.
All right. Our first segment, we're starting off big this time. I got two of our guests, Ben and Nehal, and our host, Carson, to create their team to save the world. So they have a team of 4 they have to get that versatility to be able to protect our planet from any type of natural disaster. The only restrictions are they cannot have superpowers, and it is based in current technology. No, I don't know.
Elysium.
No Elysium. Oh yeah, no. That's a good example. No Elysium.
All of it I could think of.
No exosuits. No. Spoiler alert, there's no, Tony Stark can't have his Iron Man suit. Two of our guests have,
they picked Tony Stark?
That hurt that hurt them.
Oh my god.
Alright, but you get the idea. These guys, I'm going to be giving them a specific natural disaster. Maybe some of them not so natural, but we're gonna see how their Save the World teams can handle this. So we are going to start with one of our guests. We are gonna start with B-Ball, Ben.
Yep.
So give us a rundown of your team, and then I'm gonna hit you with your natural disaster.
Fantastic. My team is full to the brim with badasses. People that bring a lot to the table. So we have the character of Hobbs from the Fast and the Furious franchise. Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. The incomparable Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. And who was my fourth one? There was a fourth one.
It's Royce.
It's Royce.
Oh, man.
From the movie Predators.
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody from the movie Predators. I had to look up what his actual... People don't call each other their names in that movie. They're dealing with predators. That's it.
Fair point.
All right. So that's the rundown of my team. Badasses, every single one of them. Tony Stark? What? With no Iron Man armor? What?
Any more context before I give you...
Nope, hit me with it.
Oh, boom. Okay. So,
yeah.
I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Geostorm that just came out.
I'm aware of it.
Okay. I haven't seen it either, but I took the synopsis, and this is what is happening to your team. Mm-hmm. So the ozone has been degraded enough to the point where we have created technology to manipulate the weather.
Yes.
To our benefit.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm concerned.
That technology has gone haywire.
Uh-huh.
Now it's causing severe electrical storms, hurricanes, earthquakes, whatever.
All right.
It's causing those types of natural disasters. Yikes. What does your team do?
Okay. Interesting. Now, as you know, a lot of what my team would do would be... So the idea is that they circumvent this or that they live. Because they're custom built to live.
Okay, so in the context of a movie, where is your success going to be? Is it going to be...
Certainly, fantastic. So,
save the most amount of lives, or...
I think it's attack whoever's taken over this geostorm business, right? They've got the machine that affects the weather, and we got to get them, okay? First of all, Hobbs, vehicle guy. right? And also international connections. Of course, he's hooked in. I forget what police he deals with, but they're the big ones.
It's like
the
Interpol or something.
Yeah. UN ambassador, access to tanks and subs and shit. So, Hobbs gets in a plane that can also go up to space because he has access to that because he's like super cop, right? Brings along survivalist crazy person Sarah Connor with all of her stored weapons that we all know about from Terminator 2 because she's expecting the apocalypse, as well as Katniss Everdeen with like a bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow.
Whatever, bow and arrow.
Shoot bow and arrows.
She's just bringing the bow and arrow into space. Who gives a shit?
Just carrying PETA
Yeah.
along too, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And Royce there as a mercenary, ready to take people on. They fly up there, F up whoever's doing this, because of course, if they're going to be doing it, they've got to be doing it from somewhere, right? Now, that's where things get tricky. But fortunately, through Hub's Interpol, whatever things,
Intelligence
he has
connections.
resources. Exactly, he has resources. So
Okay.
he brings in the top scientists. He's coming with the team because he can organize this on an international level. He's got the best. He's got the best. So they destroy all these dicks up in the spaceship that's controlling the weather. And they destroy the thing that's going to prevent them from fixing it. And then that's when the world gets saved. The Rock lands on the ground. They're just calling him the Rock now. It's no longer Hobbs. They've completely disregarded any kind of problem with it. And he just starts accepting whatever comes his way. Food, women, men, doesn't matter. He's down. Apocalypse
Has he saved the world at this point?
They saved the world. They saved the world. Whoever was doing it has been absolutely devastated. That's not the point. The point is the parade after, where they're all
Straight to the celebration.
they're straight in. It's a given. It's a given. They brought that kind of firepower. The villains just pissed themselves and fell down.
How good is the rest of your team going to be at celebrating?
Huh?
All right,
Super good.
save that.
Okay.
We're gonna have our time to fight between teams.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut you off there.
Fair.
I think you've said the gist of your.
Yeah, you get it.
All right. We're gonna go right into. This is a tough one because this is where we have the conflict between team members. I'm gonna go straight into Carson, our fearless leader. Hit me with your team, and I'm gonna get you back with your natural disaster.
Okay, so not knowing what the scenario is going to be, I tried to go for a little bit of diversity and people who could deal with whatever scenario comes their way. So obviously I started with Tony Stark. He has electrical and engineering ability. He's able to fix technology. He's able to bring a lot of electrical intelligence to the team. I also picked Cooper from Interstellar, played by Matthew McConaughey. You need a pilot on your team. Whenever you have a team saving the world, you have a spaceship, you have a craft, you're taking a subway to the core, like in the core. So you need a pilot, and he's a good noble guy. I think he'd be good on a team like this. I also brought in Indiana Jones. I'm picking Temple of Doom Indiana Jones. He has a lot of religious and historical knowledge that I think he could bring to the table. And for fourth, I picked Robert Neville, who is played by Will Smith in I Am Legend. Who is a virus and chemical and biology expert. So I think regardless of what the scenario is, I think I have an expert covered in this. And a lot of people on my team are good at the sacrifice play, so they're willing to sacrifice themselves for the good of the earth. I think this is a good team that can get the job done.
All right, Carson, your natural disaster is twofold. First of all, you have a very what the word potent, like a very serious disease, that a very horrifying health risk that just causes people. It's highly infectious, and it causes people to just bleed from all their orifices and infect each other, and just die disgustingly, and it's horrifying, and people can't deal with it. Also, at the same time, in response to the disease, the U.S. government launched a satellite that malfunctioned and took out all the electronics. It's a worldwide blackout, basically. Don't ask. I don't know the science. It just happened. What does your team do?
Okay, so good thing that Tony Stark knows how to create his own power that is self-sufficient, so he can create this and put back energy for at least his own devices to help like do research and whatnot.
It's like his own heart.
But I think it's a really good thing that I have Robert Neville on my team, because whatever is causing people to have this virus from their eyes and every orifice of their body, like he's going to be the scientist of like the other three guys are trying to get him the information, and all of these guys, so Cooper, Indiana Jones, Tony Stark, like they're really good at kind of the battling part. So if they ever need to go on a mission to invade somebody like evil person's stronghold to get the job done, to figure out the information so that they can get that data back to Robert Neville, like those are the guys who can do it. Cooper, he can pilot both like a shitty truck in like Kansas, like Interstellar, or a spaceship that's going to go through outside the solar system. So I think he's going to transport them to wherever we need to go. Tony Stark and Indiana Jones, they don't give a shit about people's lives, and I think when you're facing an end of the world scenario, you need to have somebody who doesn't give a shit about 1 billion people dying, because you need to save the other 6 billion. And I think everyone on my team is okay with letting a few people die to save the world. So Tony Stark and Indiana Jones, they're going to punch someone in the face, they're going to beat people up to get whatever they need to do to eventually come back and save the world. Robert Neville is going to be like the main guy that they're like trying to get the information for. So whatever we need to do, I'm pretty confident that they can get the job done.
All right, with time to spare, any final words before we go at each other? Well, before I give Nehal his time and then you guys go at each other.
So I picked Tony Stark from Iron Man 3, and I'm interested to see what Tony Stark Nehal picked from which movie. Tony Stark from Iron Man 3, he's really good.
The one with PTSD.
PTSD, but also
And the
like
kid friend.
yeah, and he gets shit done without the suit. So this is Tony Stark without the suit. This is the knowledge. He can beat people up. He kills people in this movie for wearing the wrong watch. And he's just a gun and his suit, and like not his suit, and he gets the job done, so he can beat people up. And Indiana Jones doesn't need shit except his whip, and he's got it, so he's good. Doesn't need technology.
All right, Nehal, you're the only one that's left, so let's see what your team is, and I'm going to also improvise your disaster on the spot. So go for it.
Nice. So I picked a team of people with very different skills, different skill sets, but also a team that would be great if a suicide mission were to go down. I figured these 4 characters were significantly traumatized to the point that they'd be willing to give their life, but not in a altruistic sense, but more so in a I don't have anything to lose, so why not?
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Different angle.
Just one of them being a little more wanting to save his life. But so let's get started. My characters are the character Mark Watney, who's played by Matt Damon in The Martian. He has a PhD in plant biology and conservation. He's an engineer. He also improvised a lot of his survival situations.
And he's a botanist.
And he's a botanist and hydropedologist, which I don't think I need to go into too much detail. But basically, he's the kind of guy that can survive in dangerous conditions, using his own improvisation and skills. The next character I picked was very similar. It was Robert Neville from I Am Legend. He's a virologist, but he's also a tactician and survivalist, which he was able to create his own traps. He was able to predict the movement of the Darkseekers, or the fictional vampires from the movie. Mm-hmm. He was able to work around those strategies to survive. The next character I picked was the character of John Wick from the movie John Wick.
1 and 2.
Yeah. So John Wick, is a master tactician. He was in the Marine Corps, which means that he's got a lot of focus. He's spatially aware, in strategy. He's also a master marksman, being able to use any weapon and use the surroundings around him and use the environment as a weapon, which makes him a highly skilled enforcer and a bodyguard if needed. He's also a very skilled driver, which makes him a good getaway driver or a good getting to the destination driver. And he's also highly skilled in martial arts, which makes him good for defeating human or other opponents. The last team member I picked was Tony Stark from the Iron Man movies. The reason being, he's an engineer. He's skilled in mathematics, physics, chemistry, nuclear science, quantum physics, which makes him the all-around scientific genius of the team. It also means he's able to predict any catastrophe that is very scientific.
All right, so I saw a lot of science science experience on your team. So I took the science out of that for your natural disaster. Your disaster is a zombie NATO. It's a combination of a Sharknado with a zombie zombie disease or zombie apocalypse. So basically, instead of sharks being launched by the hurricanes of the Sharknado, it's zombies. What does your team do?
So first of all, we'll leverage our scientists in the team, Tony Stark, to come up with some sort of prediction device that can predict the zombie NATO, being able to, very similar to the movie Tornado, where they use balls to track
Twister. Yeah.
Twister, yes. Damn it. So I feel like Tony Stark would be capable enough to come up with a way to predict this, and to come up with a way to create a force field to protect settlements as needed. We can use John Wick, who's an expert marksman, to take down or to use his tactics to neutralize the zombies in the
That are flying from the sky.
in the tornado using explosives because he's highly skilled in it. I would definitely want to use Robert Neville's skills as a virologist to come up with either a cure or a mass dispersion vaccine that neutralizes the zombies, so it can be aerially dispersed, which negates the zombies within the tornado. And finally, using Mark Watney's skills in the movie itself, he uses a very advanced communication skill to put Tony Stark's scientific genius into communication and to communicate people as the zombie NATO goes their way.
Interesting. All right. I'm going to call time on that, and you guys now have 2 minutes to take apart each other's teams. Don't be nice. Kill each other. Go!
All right, so first of all, I just want to say that it disappointed me that Zombie NATO wasn't a zombie North American trade organization.
That's also what I thought.
Yeah. It bummed me out. I thought, oh man, how are they going to deal with this diplomatic challenge with the undead having all the power? Second of all, y'all picked a group of nerds. Y'all nerds going to get stomped by my testosterone-driven power team full of dude bros, bro dudes, lady bros, lady dudes, dude ladies, bro dudes.
I think at the end of the day, if you have 4 people on a team who are trying to save the world, like, they can't out-muscle the world against them. Like, you need smart people, and you need enough muscle on your team to buy time to get the smart people something that they can solve the mystery. Because you're not solving it by beating up every bad person in the world. You're doing it by beating up enough bad people and somebody solves it through science.
Okay, so first of all, watch a movie. Every single one of them punches science in the face. Every single one of them punches science in the face. That's the answer. That's the answer to every movie. Oh, you nerd. You know? Watch Independence Day. Sure, yeah, it's based on them having a USB key, but you know what gets them there? Big old swinging dick.
Okay. Big issue I have with your team is name one time in the Fast and Furious franchise where Hobbs ever used his police power to bring any type of other resource other than himself into the fold.
He constantly has other resources.
One time.
He's pulling these tanks out of his butthole? How is he getting them?
When?
Every car he's ever driven is not his car. Every gun he's ever gotten.
But that's not a special power of his. Like, anyone who's in the Fast and the Furious franchise is like, oh, here's a fucking Lamborghini that's out of nowhere just because, why not?
Special powers.
Well, they stole it, obviously.
Part of your explanation involved Tony Stark can generate his own power.
He does in the movie.
He does, but is that not a superpower? Are we not? At what point does Tony Stark's intelligence?
It was allowed by the judge.
Was it?
It was allowed by the judge.
It was allowed by the judge. It was allowed by the judge.
The suit is not allowed. I don't allow the suit.
Suit's not allowed.
Like,
the suit's
but
not
he
in.
can. The power source is the suit. If he can generate the power source out of, again, bibbity bobbity boo, I have a power source now, which I don't know if that's the explanation we want.
The ability to create a power source is feasible. I really question Hobbs' ability to leverage like submarines and like outer space abilities.
He literally has some. He's literally.
I don't think Interpol has the ability to go to space
to fight the geostorm.
In no way would this geostorm not result in international collaboration that was previously unforeseen. Okay, and also.
Hey! John Wick with a pencil, Hobbs.
Okay.
They're not fighting one another.
I'm going to go more towards the Hulk because I think your team is all brawn, no brains. They can't solve the world apocalypse.
You also both pick nerd loners, okay? You pick nerd... okay, Neville's great, but that whole thing is about his sense of loneliness and isolation. He's not a collaborator. If anything, he becomes a monster. That's the point of that movie. Why would you choose a monster scientist on your teams? It's crazy.
I think it's more picking a survivalist. Someone who's willing to stake the odds to win.
I think the points I'm going to get in against
Forced.
Nehal is we basically have John Wick and Mark Watney versus Indiana Jones and Coop from Interstellar.
Both loners.
I'm going to take my
I don't
guys
know. I
based
never saw
on
Interstellar.
their ability to try to save the world, where I think John Wick's trying to save himself, and Mark Watney is only there to save himself, and his technical ability overlaps too much with Neville for him to be a diverse contribution to the team.
John Wick, a pencil. God damn
Yeah.
it.
Now, I think the distinction here is who can beat up who. John Wick versus Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, afraid of snakes. John Wick, gonna jam a snake down someone's throat and then jam another snake of the butt, and then those snakes are gonna meet in the middle.
I see John Wick trying to
then
take out
cure
his
the
gun.
zombie.
And then they're dead. They're dead. The snakes touch each other, and then it's like, and then they blow up, and that's just what John Wick can do.
Indiana Jones is also very good with the gun. Very good with the gun. The guy with the sword came out. He's like,
1 minute
Indiana Jones
warning.
Nobody. Okay, so if it's devolved to the difference maker between the two of you is who's got the badasses, my team's all badasses.
But what's their intelligence? What do they know?
Have collaboration. They're people that engage other people.
You're accusing us of being loners, and you have Sarah Connor on your team.
Sarah Connor had a network of other survivalist nut jobs.
When?
When they go to
30
their
second warning.
survivalist nut job friends, and that's where her weapons
What
are
movie is
stashed.
this?
Terminator 2. The one that I'm referencing.
When in Terminator 2?
When they're on the run from the machine. The
15
whole
seconds.
they go to the survivalist. Anyway, all I'm saying is
Final
all,
arguments.
All
Everyone.
my dudes are badasses. You guys picked a bunch of nerd loners that couldn't fix shit.
All right, that was B-Ball's final argument. Carson, final argument.
My team is diverse. They have competencies, both intellectual and physical, in different realms, and they can use that to work together as a team.
Time. Nehal for the final argument.
I was going to go with diversity and the ability to do what they're good at, but also a lot of arguments were made about people being selfish, but John Wick, selfish or not, he was forced to be in those circumstances. If sent into circumstances where he had to put himself over others, he would.
John Wick murdered 100 people because someone killed his dog.
Time.
100
Okay,
assassins.
time. While I deliberate, I'm gonna kick it to B-Ball for his audio clip. I need to. I'm gonna need some time to think about this. The winner for this one. What can you tell us about your audio clip that you've chosen for this episode?
Fantastic. Well, this is Walter from the Big Lebowski, and it really encapsulates both the negatives and some of the endearing positives of Walter from the Big Lebowski. I don't know how this segment works. Carson, are you gonna play the clip? Or fantastic. Here we go.
That wasn't her toe, dude.
Whose toe was it, Walter?
The fuck should I know? I do know that nothing about it indicates.
Yeah,
it
the
was
nail polish, Walter.
Fine, dude. As if it's impossible to get some nail polish, apply it to someone else's toe.
Someone else?
Yours.
Where the fuck are they
You
gonna
want a
get?
toe? I can get you a toe. Believe me. There are ways, dude. You don't want to know
Walter,
about it, believe me.
Yeah, but Walter.
Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish. It's fucking amateurs.
Walter.
They send us a toe. We're supposed to shit ourselves with fear. Jesus Christ.
Walter.
Now, the point is...
They're gonna kill her, Walter, and then they're gonna kill me.
Dude, that's just the stress talking, man. Now, so far, we have what appears to me to be a series of victimless crimes.
What about the toe?
Forget about the fucking toe!
Excuse me, sir. Could you please keep your voices down? This is a family restaurant.
Oh, please, dear. For your information, the Supreme Court has roundly rejected
Walter,
prior
This
restraint.
is not a First Amendment thing, man.
If you don't calm down, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Lady, I got buddies who died face down in the muck so that you and I can enjoy this family
All right,
restaurant.
I'm out of here.
Hey, dude, don't go away, man. Come on, this affects all of us, man. Our basic freedoms. I'm staying. I'm finishing my coffee. Enjoying my coffee.
Okay, so I feel like that clip, it's mine. I picked it. And in a lot of ways, towards the end there, that is kind of how I feel when I interact with people. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way, where like you have that awkward interaction, and then you can't leave.
You gotta stay and enjoy that coffee.
You gotta stay and enjoy that coffee. I'm not gonna leave. And then you still have an outburst, like in front of everyone, but you still can't leave, because for some reason that would mean that, I don't know,
I like that very subtle, like, ugh. And then it just goes back to like,
oh yes.
I'm not bothered.
All right, quiz time for a social media update. For that clip specifically, our question for this month is, what are both characters in the scene wearing that match each other? What are they wearing on their person? If you get it right, who knows? You might be the next guest on Houston We Have a Podcast, if you really want to be on it. It hasn't been working thus far, but hey, if you want to, it's that easy. Going back to our first segment, it was tough to pick a winner between these three Save the World teams, so I'm going to give each of these teams a twist in their movie. And depending on how well these teams deal with this twist is how I'm going to have to decide on the winner. So I'm going to start with Nehal because you were last. Your twist. So your natural disaster was the zombie NATO. It's not a trade agreement. John Wick's dead wife and Tony Stark's love interest Pepper Potts, they have been zombified and they have been thrown from a hurricane at their lovers.
Tornado.
From a hurricane, from a tornado, zombie NATO hurricane. Hey, look, the science doesn't make sense in the movie either. Okay? They get thrown. John Wick is devoured by his dead wife because he's overcome with emotion. Tony Stark has been bitten, not devoured. He's been bitten by Pepper. What does your team do?
So now in this case, they're shocked that John Wick's dead because he was the best hope first to get some muscle. But at this point in time, Robert Neville, who just lost his family to this zombie NATO, he's grief-stricken. He's very selfish. But in that face of that adversity, he begins to realize what they're going through, and he relates to it. And so he forces Tony Stark to snap out of his despair and his paranoia, and gets him to snap out of it and get back into the game. And they work together to continue the mission as planned. Mark Watney also uses his experiences to help persuade Tony Stark to make one last-ditch effort to save the people.
Oh, okay. Saving 10 seconds. B-Ball, your team. Your twist. It turns out Royce from Predators, he has actually caused this geostorm. He has taken over the weather equipment to take over the world because he is a bounty hunter. He's a slimy character. What does your team do? 1 minute, go.
Fantastic. Okay, sensing that he's bad, Katniss Everdeen knocks an arrow, turning as Royce tries to maniacally turn the machine back on the planet. She shoots an arrow through the air. It pierces Royce straight through his dastardly eye socket. Meanwhile, Hobbs is standing off to the side, flexing because he knows it's already done. There's nothing for him to do. And Sarah Connor, as well, kind of shoots a couple rounds into Royce. Just because why not? She's got to get her rocks off somehow. And then they're done. Fuck you, Royce. You're off the team, bud.
How does the geostorm end?
The geostorm ends because they knock the controller out of his dead hand. And then they stop the geostorm.
15 seconds.
Your teams are punks. Your teams are punks.
That's all right. You nailed it from...
Punk
okay.
ass teams.
All right. Carson's turn. I'm going to cut you off right there. Carson's team. Your disaster was a worldwide blackout / disease. Tony Stark has been working on his way to create power for the world so they can create their vaccination. Indiana Jones walks into his lab. Tony Stark turns dramatically. He's bleeding from the eyes and nose. He's infected. What does your team do? Go.
I mean, fuck it, he wants to die anyway. Indiana Jones is gonna take that whip and be like, whoosh. Tony Stark's dead. Who gives a shit? Indiana Jones, Robert Neville are gonna solve it because they're scientist people. They know shit. I don't think like that's actually better for me because Tony Stark was kind of useless because of the EMP to begin with. So honestly, like you could kill every other person on my team. Indiana Jones is gonna fucking save the world because that's what he does. He's gonna bring out some mystical religious artifact that's just gonna save the world. All these dead people, we just needed Robert Neville to save them from the scenario. Anyway, Tony Stark's weakness is mitigated. And we have all the strengths of my team with none of the weaknesses anymore, so we're all good.
15 seconds.
I'm good. I'm good.
No, your teams are wussies and nerds from Carson?
B-Ball's team has no brains, and Nehal's team is... I mean, I'm really concerned about Sharknado or Zombie NATO, this political scenario.
Time! And that's an advertisement for the Apple timer alarm. Okay. Again, this was very tough for me to decide. It's even harder because I have to decide it on the spot and not during the break. But I did that to myself. So, I based this off mostly what is the most entertaining movie. And I'm going to have to say that this is the first tie that we've had in Houston. We have a podcast. Hold on, let me pull up my notes here. I don't know why I put them away.
This could be the longest episode we've ever done.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So our first tie team is B-Ball with the all muscle team. I think I feel like they handled the villain who turned out to be Royce with great. It was very dramatic, and the ending was quite the climax. I have to give it to him. And also, it was a tie between... sorry. Oh my god, I can't speak English. It was a tie between B-Ball's team with the muscle and Nehal's team with the science. So it was like one extreme versus the other. I just feel like... all across the board, the disasters weren't quite dealt with, but as a movie, it was more entertaining to see the heroes on these teams deal with their disasters and not quite succeed, but also have fun and die mostly. It's not the best explanation, but I'm going to kick it to Carson for our next segment.
You guys want to gloat about that at all before we go on?
I mean, it's your show, so I'm sure you're just kind of, basking in it. So
okay.
I don't
I've won the most amount of challenges on this show.
That's cool. Not today, though. Yeah, what's up?
I
Boom.
You know what? Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so our next segment, let's
I might not be here next episode.
let's tone down the intensity a little bit here. Next segment, we're just having a conversation here. We're talking about two movies with a very similar subject that were released within 2 months of each other, Armageddon and Deep Impact. Paulo, why the fuck are we talking about Armageddon and Deep Impact?
I know you're asking me this because I chose these two movies, and I will tell you, because...
I hate both of these movies.
You know what? They're both bad, but you know what? Also, they're both bad. And look, okay, so this is the thing. Back even when I was a young lad, when these first came out, was it 1995?
96.
Circa 1996, 1997. I was a young child. I enjoyed stupid things. I will admit, Armageddon was the first movie that I ever saw in theaters twice.
Oh.
Hey, it was.
Twice?
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't understand all the jokes, but...
You really didn't want to close your eyes. You didn't want to fall asleep because you missed that movie.
Hey.
And you don't want to miss Armageddon.
With those animal crackers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That does not age well.
It does not age well.
Terribly.
Especially in this this climate of
Like treating people as people.
And like sexual harassment as like sexual molestation with Rockhound, the character Rockhound.
Yes, yes. Rockhound has 3 references to Liking 'Em Young in the first 30 minutes of that movie.
But anyways, aside from that, these movies are very similar. It was the beginning of like what came first. It was like 2 movies about asteroids coming to hit Earth. We have to save the planet. Another like movie, like combination of movies that I remember was like Ants versus A Bug's Life.
Right. Yeah.
Like, yeah. It was like what?
Like close.
Did these who bit who? Which one was better? That's why I thought like let's figure it out right now.
So I want to talk about my experience rewatching Armageddon because I saw it once when I was younger and I hadn't seen it until again recently. There's the first scene where they start off there in space and there's astronauts and then immediately they fucking die. There's like mini asteroids coming and blowing them apart.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting because like obviously this is a scene where Billy Bob Thornton he's having a dream about fearing losing people and he's like, oh, they're building some type of character. And in that second, I judged the movie I gave it way more credit than it ever deserved. That it would actually build.
That's before any of the main characters.
But that's just how it fucking starts. Is like people fucking die, the world's ending, and then it immediately goes to some homeless guy walking his dog on the streets of New York, and it's like.
And then you're reminded that it's a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
Explosions.
Yeah, explosions.
Explodes too.
You know what?
It's like stereotypes, explosions, boom, action.
It's so bad.
The thing that drives me nuts about Armageddon is that the basic concept is flawed, right? Because I don't buy that, oh, you can't teach an astronaut to drill the way that these guys are drilled. They're going to just learn your astronaut stuff. Like, that doesn't make any friggin' sense. I do respect the drilling profession, but I think an astronaut can pick it up.
I do.
I don't think any drillers are listening to this podcast.
And of course,
I've worked with drillers before, actually.
All right, then
and I can say I very confidently disrespect the profession.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure an astronaut can learn it.
Absolutely. Absolutely they could. And at least in the movie Deep Impact, the nerds look like nerds, right? Like that guy that's like gets in the car crash at the beginning of Deep Impact as he's driving away from
He's like a science person.
He's a science person. They're all dorks. They've got bad hair and bad clothes. You watch Armageddon and, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to save this science thing and then I'm going to play guitar. Wow. I'm going to shoot a gun at a cop, like.
Speaking of guns, by the way, like, one of the biggest problems I had, surprisingly, one of the biggest problems I had with Armageddon is that there were so many guns on the asteroid.
Like one gun?
No, there was 2 guns. They had a minigun on the drill.
One where Steve Buscemi goes crazy and he's just like fucking shooting it.
The drill machine.
Yeah,
they had a machine that was designed to drill, which had a minigun on it, and then inside the spaceship, the captain had a pistol.
I full disclosure, I elected not to watch the last quarter of the movie again.
Well, this is from my memory because I've seen it twice in theaters. Again,
right.
I'm putting myself out there.
It's your favorite movie.
Yes,
it's your favorite movie.
Have
you seen any other movie twice in theaters?
I have seen Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Which Spider-Man?
Which one? 2? Spider-Man 2?
No,
Spider-Man 2?
Amazing
Sam
Spider-Man
Raimi?
2?
No. Spider-Man. Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2.
Okay, that's the correct answer.
That's okay. Yeah.
Right? Okay, thank you guys. I get to keep my job as co-host.
Punch to the face.
But it's like they have a minigun on the drill machine, and then the captain has a pistol, and then I think the best line to describe this is like the guy named Chick. His name is Chick.
Chick.
It's like, what are you doing with a gun in space? That's his line verbatim.
Okay.
What are you doing with a gun in space?
The other thing that drives me nuts about this, and there's got to be something that happened that resulted in 2 movies coming out where the plot is that there's an asteroid coming to Earth and that the only solution is to fly people up there
and then nuke it.
And then, no, not just nuke it. Not just nuke it. Drill into the asteroid and then nuke it. And quite frankly, Deep Impact seems like they answered the problem I had with Armageddon. Because they don't get a group of roughneck drillers to go up into space. They just take astronauts with like chilled astronaut stuff to get it done. And they're better for it.
Well, the thing is, between Deep Impact and Armageddon, I was thinking about this. Like, they have the same solution, but the tone of the movie is like for Deep Impact.
The tone is so different.
Well, no,
I'm not being sarcastic. No. It's so different.
It is exactly like it's more scientific. Like, but aside from
sarcastic, like they're a very different tone. Absolutely different tone.
But like in Deep Impact, it's more about like the people that are being affected by like this tragedy and like how are we dealing with it back on Earth?
Deep Impact, the last half of Deep Impact bums me out because it feels like every character is just dealing with death.
Yeah,
like I am going to die.
It's like how half the world dies.
Absolutely going to die. There's no question. I will be dying. And what do you do?
Whereas
I was watching that and I was literally like, "Yay, everyone's gonna die."
On the other hand, Armageddon, when half the world dies, like half the world dies in each movie, but in Armageddon, when half the world dies, it's like Asia and like it's nameless people on their like fishery.
The only other way that they show it is through the emotional impact that it has on Liv Tyler specifically. Right? Anything happens and it's not that the world's in trouble, it's like, no, that's my boyfriend.
No,
like,
that's my father.
Yeah, that's my father. I'm gonna be over here super bummed out. First of all, why is she in there? Right? She has nothing to contribute. She's just there to be like, oh man,
she's in the control room.
Yeah, Liv's pretty bummed out.
She's there so that they could have a female character.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about this a bit. So there's this thing online called the Bechdel test, and it's really straightforward to pass, but Armageddon does not do it. So it needs to pass 3 things. It needs to have like 2 named female characters. They need to talk to one another, and it can't be about a dude. Okay? And Armageddon doesn't pass it whatsoever. Deep Impact gets that sorted out 8 minutes in. I counted it.
No, that's true.
Literally 8 minutes in. 2 women have a conversation. They're both named characters, and they don't give a fuck about guys in that moment because they got their own shit going on.
There are 3 women in Armageddon. One is the captain of one of the spaceships.
Who's the third?
Who's good? Wait, let me finish. Number 2 is Liv Tyler.
Yes.
Number 3 is the wife of the guy that discovers the asteroid in the beginning of the movie.
Dottie.
Yes, Dottie in the beginning of the movie. And he calls her a life-sucking bitch.
No, there's a fourth. There's a fourth. Remember when? No, when Chick goes and
his wife.
explains. Yeah, his wife. He explains. Oh, I gotta go. They never talk to each other. No woman ever speaks to another woman in that movie.
It does pass the one part of it of 2 named characters because the wife is Dottie.
But they don't speak to each other.
They never speak to one another, and they only ever speak to men. But at least there's 4 women characters. Whereas in Deep Impact, it's like a women character utopia. There's like, a main woman character, subset women characters, like tertiary women characters of different ethnicities.
I will give that. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I mean, I was just find it really surprising how the destruction of Manhattan, the scenes, the explosions were so generically similar to the Transformers movie. So
Michael Bay just saved the footage from Armageddon and then he put it over to Transformers.
Interesting fact about these 2 movies: the same special effects company did both of them. And
boom!
The fucking worst special effects I can say. The wave in Deep Impact is hilariously bad. It's really
they did the same.
It's really bad.
I don't know. Maybe it's because at that point I'm just staring at those characters like, oh my god, they're gonna die.
That's the thing.
They chose to die. This is Tia Leone and her dad dying right now.
Let's not exaggerate this. This Deep Impact is still a bad movie. The
I don't know.
dialogue is not very good. The characters do not make sense. It's like, hey, I'm Elijah Wood. I'm a 12-year-old kid. I'm just going to give up my life because I'm noble, and no one even replaces him.
But it's insanity.
Also,
right? What would you do?
How old do you think?
There's a 300-foot tidal wave coming at you, Carson.
How old do you think Elijah Wood is in this movie?
Pardon?
How old is Elijah Wood in this movie?
Like 14?
16?
He's 17 when this movie was filmed. He looks like a 12-year-old.
He looks like a 12-year-old now.
I understand what that's like, okay, in life. I understand.
If I
just got ID'd today getting the beer for this podcast.
I would ID you. I would be like, all right, come on, buddy. It's like I'm almost 30 years old. It's like, come on.
But like the thing is, like what B-Ball mentioned is, like the characters are dying on the Earth, like the girl Tia Leone and her father, nameless father. Sorry, Neil. You care about them because But
it's really stupid that they die and then the world is saved immediately right after that. That it's like they didn't have to die. They just have to go a little bit inland. And
no, but actually the thing is,
they couldn't survive.
The thing is, like,
Tia Leone could have survived.
There's a reason why, because like half the world has to die because like the astronauts failed and like half the asteroid has to hit the world. And it makes sense.
It does.
Like, it's not even half the world. It's just like the East Coast.
Yeah, whatever. It's only America matters in these movies.
Okay, I do want to bring up another thing about this though, is that the treatment of Asian people in Armageddon is completely absurd because they are only represented twice. In the whole freaking movie. The first time is like these weird, like I guess we're supposed to give it a pass because it's like the late 90s, right? And Japanese people didn't talk English or whatever. But they're successful Japanese businessmen on a oil driller. And not only do they not understand English, but they're completely oblivious to tone. Because here's Liv Tyler and her father having a knockdown, drag-out fight. Sure, it's in English, but, you know, they're not like, oh, it's in English. I can't tell they're yelling. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, Harry!
Oh, big American style. Like, what the fuck are we doing? And at that point, they're covered in oil, and the oil rig almost blew up, and there's been shotgun blasts in the interim.
See, what I don't get about that is he clearly shoots at pipes. How do these pipes not rupture?
How do they not rupture?
That's another
kill someone.
Another plot hole.
Killed someone.
Like these Japanese investors somehow don't notice that shotguns are going off. And
yeah, they're just totally cool with it. And the fact that there's crude oil coming out of the water, they're like,
those silly Americans.
Yeah, they're just getting it done. We're excited because we're in the business.
Okay, time out. Let's talk about what's good about these movies.
Wait.
Is there anything?
Wait.
Another criticism. Michael Bay.
Okay, fine.
Michael Bay having a cameo in that movie as a scientist.
Oh,
totally unnecessary.
Actually, no, he is. He has a cameo.
That is hilarious.
He does like there's 4 pictures like, oh, look how big this asteroid is.
This is the asteroid at 1655.
Oh my god, I gotta go back and rewatch that. What
like,
do we have any idea?
If you don't know what Michael Bay looks like,
I know exactly what he looks like.
Okay,
this was one of his first movies, though, right?
It was like, yeah.
Like, he wasn't super famous at this point, right?
Yeah, so he could put himself in the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that was a subtle thing for him.
But no, Nehal, like
how Taika Waititi was the voice in Thor Ragnarok.
I love that.
And I don't think a lot of people would have known that because he's still kind of not that famous.
Also, but also I haven't seen it yet.
I would feel like he added a lot of character to his role.
Who? Michael Bay?
No, Taika Waititi.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
Like, Michael Bay was just there because
he just looks at the camera.
I feel like a lot of directors do that. Like, even Alfred Hitchcock did that in a lot of his movies, and it's a pretty common thing for directors to put themselves in their movies. So I'll give that a pass. Like, there's a lot of shit I can blame Michael Bay for, but that's not one of them that I'll get too much into.
Okay. So aside from all of this, like, what was good about these movies?
So, Deep Impact, I'll just say, like, I really, as much as it's a kind of a mind trip that the second half of the movie is people dealing with their own mortality, I feel like that's appropriate. And, like, people make crazy decisions. Like, and I think I would do that. Like, I think I would make those decisions. Like, I would spree marry a woman, like, fast, just to save someone.
Oh, I thought you said spray.
No, like,
marry a woman.
Like, I would just quickly marry. Like, if I was Elijah Wood, I would try to fast marry Lily Sobieski. Just to save someone. Because I would try to marry Lily
Sobieski if the world wasn't ending.
Absolutely. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I could see doing those things that would seem crazy, but honestly, I would do it. Like, I feel like I would. And, like, Armageddon.
And
I don't know.
That's where I hold Deep Impact over Armageddon. But on the other hand, Armageddon is like, it's an action movie. Period. Like, there's not really characters. It's like characters that you want to laugh at or like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
Except for like the two that's like, oh, it's sad. He's giving himself up. Bruce Willis. Spoiler alert. But like on the other,
Spoiler alert
If
for
they're not
1990.
watching this movie, if they haven't seen the movie before watching,
but
this
yeah,
podcast,
like on the other hand, like Deep Impact, it's like more than one character, more than two characters you like care about when they're dying because like there's a reason they're like not the reason they're dying, but like it's they're coming to terms with themselves dying.
So take Deep Impact out of the equation. Is there anything good we can say about Armageddon? Mister, I've seen it twice in theaters.
The animal cracker scene?
Oh my god.
no, oh god, maybe I don't know. I don't know how feel
I will
about
say
it.
this: like the dialogue, like the script. I'm gonna sound like a snob right now. No, the script is actually very good because
What do you mean?
look, listen to me. Wait, listen to me.
Give an example.
Look,
One example.
It gives you a good idea of who everyone is without like hitting you over the head.
Okay, I love the montage scene. I love that.
No, that's
like,
good
that's
too.
Silly.
No,
good
but I
fun.
mean, like, okay, I'll give you an example. It's so natural where like it's what these characters would actually say. It's like these roughneck quote unquote. Like, I'll give you an example. I said that already. Bruce Willis and Chick are on the oil rig, and they're like hitting golf balls at the Greenpeace people, and he's like, Chick is advising Bruce Willis like, oh, guess what? One of these drills did something unexpected yesterday. And then he's like, Bruce Willis is like, oh, which one? And he's like, oh, number 2. Guess who did it? And he's like, I don't know. I'll give you 2 guesses, but you only need 1. God damn it, AJ! And then it sets up perfectly. Like Bruce Willis and AJ Ben Affleck, aka Batman, they're like, it's one guy versus the other, like
AKA Batman. The short
but like
form for Ben
it's not
Affleck.
like, oh, you hate AJ and you hate Bruce Willis. It's not like spelled out for you. It's like it's like
I guess that might be a matter of opinion because for me, that's hitting over the head with it.
that's oh man.
What I would call a subtle and appropriate character is Oscar choice when. So they're giving their demands to what they want from the government, and he says, "Hey, I have a bunch of parking tickets," and it's like he's a rebel, he's an outlaw, he has a bunch of parking tickets because he doesn't listen to people. And
That's like completely on the other side.
That's all you need, and you don't need much else to explain the character, and everything else is just way too much.
But I'm speaking from like the dumb audience perspective.
I found the psychology and the physical tests, that whole scene, just
like the montage.
the montage.
Michael
The
Clark
psychology
Duncan
one
in that was
especially.
hilarious.
Yeah. The what?
The Michael Clark Duncan part where they're like
Rest in
testing
peace.
him physically. And
he like strips down to
yeah,
his
he
leopard.
strips down to his underwear and he's like, "What about this?" You know, and it's like, "Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan, show him." Like, as a heavyset guy, I'm like, "Yeah, I might not be able to run, but I'm okay." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what about this?" Like, I appreciate that. I like that. I don't know.
But I mean, like, okay, so like even with that and what you were saying, Nehal, like everything that they're talking about when in Armageddon, all these guys that are going on the spaceship, like it sounds like what these guys would actually say. It's not like we're not in a movie. It's
Okay, so here's the thing. I have a problem with that. Slight problem, and the problem is that I've never heard anyone speak like anyone in that movie. Like, and it's very natural, but maybe I just don't engage.
As someone who has worked with oil rig people, I can say this is exactly how they sound.
Okay.
See, exactly.
Okay, there
My
you go.
problem
There
is
you go.
not with those people, it's the NASA people who are supposed to be smart. And
Okay, I'm with you on
to
this one.
begin
I'm with you on this one 100%.
The fact that the oil rig people speak the same as the NASA people,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
I wouldn't say they speak the same. Like they make the distinction pretty well, I think. Even if it's small.
I don't know. The NASA people don't make logical sense. Okay?
For being NASA people.
They're for being NASA people, yes. Yeah, like they absolutely don't. Like the idea. First of all, I don't know why this bugs me so much, and I don't know why I'm a huge advocate for just Asian people in general.
Hey, I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yeah. How are there not any Asian people employed at NASA? Okay,
'Cause it's not real NASA.
Ridiculous thing. Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton's there. He's the head of NASA. And he looks like he's gonna frickin' shoot a hole in a stop sign and just drive by in his pickup truck. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay. We need to cut this conversation off. This went
we're
about
getting very passionate about
twice as long as I thought this conversation was going to go on. I thought there was nothing much to say about these two movies, but I guess there is. So we're going to move right along. Nehal, your audio clip. Why don't you give us a quick introduction to what you want to show here?
Perfect. So my audio clip is actually the speech that forget his name, President Whitmore from Independence Day. The speech that he gives to the troops who are about to go into this big battle to inspire them, to get them ready. I felt that this clip really applied to me because it speaks to me because it speaks to the current situation. And I feel like this speech, if it was revamped, recut, and said again, it could inspire a lot of people given current circumstances.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Thanks for that clip, Nehal. Our question for the audience is, what moment from Independence Day Resurgence did you like? Are there any? I don't think there are.
Time out. Pop quiz, asshole.
Okay.
I actually remembered this time. Okay. All three of you, Nehal, B-Ball, Carson, you guys have 1 minute. 1 minute to name as many characters as you can from the Resident Evil franchise. This is going to be a good lead into our next segment. And go.
What's the main girl's name?
Albert Wesker, Alice, Claire Redfield, Eddie Redfield.
Oh my god.
Jill Valentine.
Deformed Monster Man.
I'll accept that.
Nemesis.
Zombie Dog.
Who does Jorah Mormont play?
Albert Wesker.
Wow.
I will not accept Jorah Mormont.
Grim Darko.
I will not accept that.
Both versions of Alice. The real person and the person
The Red Queen, the White Queen.
I'll accept Red Queen.
God.
Both versions of Alice I will not
Parker
accept.
Posey.
30 seconds.
Wesley Snipes.
the guy who plays Magi from Mummy. He's in one of them.
What's his character's name?
I don't remember.
I will accept what he does in the movies.
He's a mercenary.
I'll accept that. Did you say Lilu?
Yeah.
We already got Alice.
I don't know any characters.
Lilu Dallas multipass.
Yeah,
10 seconds.
Know.
You get one more character and you have 10. 3.
Who's the other girl? Who's
1.
Like the Alice, like...
Time! Alright. Oh, there he goes. So I was very generous. I think at least 3 of them were not the characters' names, but yeah, that was just to point out that there are no characters. I would have accepted there are none.
I didn't even remember that Alice was her name.
Yeah, I think there's a clear winner on this one.
Yeah, I think Nehal, you won because
that's not.
Yeah, Alice was like, what?
It's a little bit of shame.
Oh, her name was Alice. Okay,
it's a win, but not really a win. No,
it's a clear win with 2 losers.
It is, yeah.
To be honest, the only character I thought about was Alice. Everything else was just a radio game.
Exactly. No, and you got it.
I mean, we all thought about Alice. Okay, next segment. Zombie outbreak. So each of you guys have prepared a scenario for us. What we have developed here is each of you have picked a death scene from a movie, and you have picked a zombie serum. So the scenario I've given you is, imagine you are a mad scientist trying to create a zombie outbreak to kill the most amount of people, ideally the whole planet. And so you are going to the scene of a movie death scene of your choosing. Has to be on Earth, nothing from the future. And you are going to be kind of sniping them with a tranquilizer gun with a certain zombie serum. And that's going to be your patient zero, and you're going to create the zombie outbreak to destroy the world. So, I'm going to give you some criteria after this, but I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to introduce what scene you picked and why. So how about, Ben, you go first.
Fantastic. So, I've picked the truly terrifying rage virus from 28 Weeks Later Zombies. 28 weeks later, not 28 days later, because 28 weeks later the zombies have a certain je ne sais quoi, wherein they have
It's a good choice. It's
a bit of a targeted kind of like I'm pissed at that person kind of vibe to them.
Yep.
And the timeline or the death that I chose was from the Oliver Stone classic JFK. And it's JFK. The moment when his head snaps back and to the left, he then devours Jackie Onassis in front of a stunned crowd of thousands that turned up to see him.
Oh my God.
And as they turn on the crowd, full of rage virus, there's, I don't know, several thousand rage virus zombies created immediately in Texas, and they spread throughout North America and South America.
I will save my argument.
Just one clarification here. The fact that JFK's brain is destroyed partially during this assassination is not a factor here.
Oh, that's my argument!
That whoever the patient zero is successfully has become a zombie.
Alright,
So
that's fine.
Thank you.
applies
That's
to
still
everyone
fine.
here.
Thank you,
That's
Carson.
still fine.
Thank you. Very fair.
That's still fine.
Very
Okay.
fair.
So thank you for that. Nehal, how about yours?
All right. So the death scene I picked was one of my actually favorite war movies after Full Metal Jacket was Platoon, and the character I picked from that was Sergeant Elias. His death scene was the most dramatic scenes, and I thought he would be a good patient zero. Reasoning behind it is if I infect him, he would turn it. And the zombies actually I picked were from the pack zombies and the swarmers from World War Z, or the Max Brooks zombies. So the reason why I picked this was the minute I infect him and he dies, he'll turn and he'll bite one of the pursuing NBA commandos, and they will turn in 12 seconds as the lore goes. But I figured that because that maybe there's a possibility that they would shoot down this patient zero, but because they were highly superstitious in that time, they would actually run away instead of shooting this zombie down. This zombie would spread across the Vietnamese villages, turning zombies one by one, and the plague would rapidly spread through Asia and throughout the world. And because
the Asian population is a lot higher than everyone else?
that is one reason too.
All right.
But the other reason being that there was a lot of political instability at the time. A lot of people were fighting each other to the point that they would not be able to recognize the threat ahead of them. And the medical scenario was not as developed as was back then, which means that it would take them a long time to recognize the virus, to recognize the issue, by which time the epidemic would have spread to the point that it would actually consume half of the world, or at least 3/4 of the world.
All right. Thanks for that. Paulo, what is yours?
All right. My death scene, I picked the Kansas City Shuffle from Lucky Number 11. So if you've ever seen that movie, there's the very beginning of the movie, there's a guy sitting in an airport, and he's like talking to Bruce Willis, and then Bruce Willis is explaining to him what the Kansas City Shuffle is, and he's like, everyone looks left, you look right, and then he breaks the guy's neck. And then he puts the guy in a wheelchair, and he wheels him off for who knows what. I won't spoil the movie. But basically, the guy is dead. The guy, I infect him with my zombie virus, which is the remake Dawn of the Dead zombie virus, which is basically you turn instantly, or if you're infected, you turn slowly over a few days. It takes a while to kill you. But then as soon as you turn, you are a fast zombie and only shooting you in the brain, destroying you in the brain. Destroying the brain will kill you. So I'm thinking that guy, he's in the wheelchair. He turns around, he wakes up, he kills Bruce Willis. He's in an airport. He eats a bunch of people. It doesn't matter if airport security takes care of him, but he's bitten, he's infected a bunch of people. They're going all across the world, and then those people eventually turn, and then the speed with which they move and bite people and infect everyone, there's no stopping that. Also, side backup plan, this guy Slevin, he's got 2 mob bosses looking for him. So even if he doesn't get the first few people, he's got a lot of America because he's got a bunch of hitmen coming to get this guy, to not to kill him, but to bring him to their boss. And we all know that when you're trying to control a zombie, not kill him, he gets a lot of bites in. So that's my scene.
Okay, so here's how this argument is going to go. I have 4 or 5 minute segments for each of you, and I am going to trademark this as the official zombie outbreak grading criteria. I'm calling it the 228 grading criteria, and I'm going to have you argue over how effective your zombie outbreak is at a certain time period. 2 minutes, 28 minutes after outbreak, 2 days, 28 days after the zombie outbreak.
Wow.
So the first 5 minute segment here, and this is just going to be an open discussion, so go for it. 2 minutes after outbreak, how effective is your scenario?
Well, mine takes place in I forget when JFK passed away.
1963, Dallas, the population of Dallas was 68,000.
Always count on Carson to do his research.
So 1963.
Facts.
Yeah, hashtag facts. 1963, communication isn't as robust as it is now, or would be in, say, the Vietnam War or present day. And what was the other one? Yeah. It was, so I think I'm in a similar boat to Paulo in the sense that there's got to be a way for us to get off of North America in order for us to be truly worldwide. However, I think that ships would be readily available through the ports that are available in Texas.
Is this before or after the Cuban Missile Crisis?
This is after, because he was a part of the Cuban Missile Crisis and then he passed.
So
I'm sure of that.
Coastal security is at an all-time high.
Not an all-time high. One could argue that it's higher now.
I mean, at the time.
Yes. Yes. So that's...
Also, I feel like this is like, a presidential parade.
Sorry, just to get back to this, I'm thinking 2 minutes. This isn't like the whole...
Yeah.
Like, the immediate scenario, how many people are immediately around JFK, immediately around Slevin?
Let me get to that.
2 days?
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
First 2 minutes?
Immediate vicinity.
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of Secret Service, there's a lot of security around the president. I mean, it's the president. So...
They've never seen
You also
this.
got Harvey Oswald, who's a pretty good sniper.
First of all, they've never seen this.
Yeah,
okay?
but
no one has any idea, and immediately 4 people are bitten. And they take off into the crowd. They start biting people.
Rage virus,
then turn
right?
around. Rage virus, exactly. They bite, they turn immediately, they bite someone else. Okay? Then slowly, not even slowly, within the first 2 minutes, I would say we're looking at 300. 300 zombies.
There's 122 people who witnessed the JFK assassination. That's the perimeter.
That's the
really did his research.
There was many, many other people on the parade route. I've looked at video.
But the majority of people at the JFK assassination was near a Dallas airport, and it was like 50,000. So I think a lot of people were there. It wasn't so much at the later parts of his trip.
Also, I think
there's a few hundred though. Like there's people.
A few hundred people.
On top of that, the Secret Service that were in the area and the security forces, they only have to shoot these people like in the body to put them down. They don't have to shoot them in the brain.
That is not true. That is not true. What?
The rage virus, they're living humans.
Sure, but they don't go down from a single shot.
Oh, no, not a single shot. But the rage virus, they don't have to be shot in the brain. They just have to be like their body has to be destroyed.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this movie.
So basically, rage virus is they have they're so compelled to put themselves to the brink of what a human body is capable of, but they're still living humans. So anything that would kill a human being would kill these zombies.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah.
Alright, I'll go ahead. So my death scene in Zombification takes place at the time of the Vietnam War, and in this scene specifically, Elias is being chased down by NVA commandos. When Elias turns, he's going to bite the commando next to him and came to expect his body. But these commandos are going to see something horrific, and being highly superstitious, or at least to some extent, they would look at this monster and run away. This would give him the leeway time to take down these commandos one by one. These zombies would then spread around other villages that possibly were not commandos or guerrilla warriors, and they would turn because of the virus.
I will also say here, there is a helicopter in the air with guns. There is the World War Z zombie virus cannot reanimate dead people. It can only turn living people into zombies. So anyone who's been gunned down in the vicinity as a recently deceased corpse cannot be reanimated. And anyone who is alive has a gun because they're in the middle of a war.
It's true, but the turning process takes 12 seconds. And we do know that when he dies, the helicopters are taking away. So, I mean, I don't want to get all in physics and motion here, but the helicopters probably took away.
We saw it happen in World War Z in Israel.
Exactly. So the helicopters probably took away by the time the turning process took place. And it is possible that he could have turned them one by one, and to the point that it would become overwhelming. Yes, the commandos could have come together and realized that, oh, we could have taken this down, but by that time there would have been too many people or too many infected to the point that it would be impossible for them to take it down. And because there are surrounding countries like Laos, which were in the same condition, I did a bit of research. The possibility of turning would be a lot higher.
Okay, so I'm going to cut that off. We're going to fast forward to 28 minutes after. So JFK assassination, local police have swarmed into the scenario. Vietnam scenario, like surrounding platoons or whatever, have surrounded in. Lucky number 11, people have, like, surrounding police forces have come into the airport. How is your zombie outbreak doing at the 28-minute part?
Who are we starting with?
Anyway, just go for it.
Okay, well, I'm going to start because I think even in the actual movie when... Bruce Willis kills when he actually kills Slevin, no one knows. So there are actually no police forces. There's no initial response to this first death. He's carrying this guy in a wheelchair. So this guy in a wheelchair, he bites Bruce Willis, no one knows. He's a hitman. Like, it's his job to make sure that no one knows that this guy is dead. So he bites Bruce Willis, whatever. He bites, like, other people. It doesn't even matter if other people, if Bruce Willis, like, managed to somehow shoot this guy without anyone noticing in an airport, mind you.
Are they in an airport or are they in the bus terminal?
They are in an airport.
Okay, if they are in an airport, that is the emptiest airport that's ever been, okay? The reason he can have someone murdered in that airport is because it's so darn empty.
Time out. I have been in an airport that has been empty in a terminal because there has been no plane that's boarding in that terminal, and no one is there yet. So I've slept in that area before.
And that would not be a great place to infect people with a zombie virus.
But those terminals are very close to one another. So once Bruce Willis wheels this little,
there's a lot of security in the airport.
They're designed not to let you out of areas.
No, time out. In an American airport, not a lot of people surprisingly have guns. On top of that, in every zombie movie, the guys with guns don't think to shoot the infected person in the head yet. They like shoot 2 in the body. Even John Wick, he's like 2 in the body, 1 in the head. But it's 2 in the body first. And then after that, if the person's not dead, then maybe 1 in the head. But that gives that infected person enough time to infect people. Like, you know how many people are in an airport?
Not in that airport. Not in that airport.
But Bruce Willis is already
also,
like.
Which airport is this? What city?
This is I don't know, Chicago.
Like, how far away is the airport from the rest of the city?
What? Oh no,
airports
no!
are pretty
It
far
doesn't
away.
matter. Like, not even the rest of the city. Like, he's infecting people that are going to across the world. Like,
But okay, this plane is going to be in the air. You're thinking about it crossing a continent.
yes.
Is the plane going to make it there, or is that zombie going to take over and kill everyone else
So-
on the way there, and the plane's going to crash?
Dawn of the Dead, the remake. The girl that got bitten, who was pregnant. It took her a very long time, more than the flight travel of a plane, to become infected because her baby got infected.
Very much relying on somebody getting bitten and being like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm just going to get on a plane for 8 hours."
Also having to be pregnant.
Okay, time out. How many times have you been on the plane and then it asks like, do you have flu-like symptoms? And you're like, no, but you have like a cough or whatever.
I think if I got fucking bitten by a zombie,
Not
I'd
once
be
have
like,
I ever been
something's
asked
wrong.
if I have flu-like symptoms on a plane.
What? That's
Not once. Not once.
That's every
I'll agree
time.
with that. I'll agree with this.
That's every. Oh shit! Did I just break the
No,
computer?
no, it's fine.
Okay, no, every time, every time.
I am
It's
missing
like,
that
have
part
you
of it.
visited a farm? Have you like eaten fruit or something
Oh,
like
it's on the
that?
board. You just check the box and you go on.
Yeah,
No one's
exactly.
ever asked you.
That's the thing. You check the box and you just walk right through the border. And you know how many people are on that
Okay.
border?
If somebody who's
So-
foaming from the mouth
I'm
fucking
sorry.
bit me, I'd be like, "Yo, there's a problem here."
I'm sorry. So, Paul, your entire global strategy relies on that scenario where a pregnant woman is bitten.
Not
and
just
then-
a pregnant woman.
It has to be a pregnant woman because the Dawn of the Dead zombies are running zombies, but it comes with the second they get bitten. They
Yes.
don't turn until they die. They look very sick until they die.
Yes.
And then they crazy.
Yes. No. Exactly.
Right, but they won't let you on the plane if you look very, very sick.
Of course they will. Once
Not
you're
once zombies
once
are
you're in the
starting to run
terminal. Once you're in the terminal already.
Oh,
when-
I see. It's because they're in the terminal and the
already
outbreak
in the
happens,
terminal.
and they can't
Yes.
yet adjust.
Yes.
Okay.
Look,
I still think like
It's
I
modern.
can see spreading to other parts of the U.S., but spreading on an 8, 10 hour, like 12-hour flight across to another continent, that's going to be tough.
even like okay.
Anyway,
So
we're talking about 28 minutes. 28 minutes. So let's focus on that because we're going to talk about.
yeah,
Right,
sure.
So you can't fly anywhere in 28 minutes. I can't even get through customs in 28 minutes. So 28 minutes, still in the airport.
Okay, but even okay, think about the security measures that you have to get to the pilot.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off because we talked about all years and we have another
Oh.
minute to talk about these guys too. So,
Sorry.
Vietnam and JFK assassination 28 minutes after. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So 28 minutes later, there's a lot of death happening, and somebody mobilizes to try to take this down. But the problem is, you have Vietnamese forces getting ready to fight. The U.S. realizes this. They're fighting the Vietnamese forces. The Russian forces realize this. They're fighting each other. And amidst all this death and destruction, the zombies are having their own fun time. You have a few
Fun time.
Yeah, you're having a few zombies that are dead, but they're more and more being created. Not by the death, but because people, the forces are fighting amongst each other to focus on the real threat. So by 28 minutes, there's more spreading going on to the point that there's the infected are turning each other around the fringes of the countries.
And JFK?
28 minutes, 1,000 people infected.
Can I talk at the same time
What?
while these guys are?
I just
talked
want
the
to
whole
talk.
time
Like,
through.
I want to talk
Oh,
about
okay.
about his or about his. 'cause we
Okay,
talked
sorry.
a lot about yours.
Sure.
let's focus on
So
this.
28 minutes, over 1,000 people infected because they were infected in downtown Houston, Texas. They start spreading towards the coast. Again, we're 28 minutes in, and we're already starting to look at a footprint by which they're going to expand across the continental United States and into Mexico. Yeah, 28 minutes in, I think we're over 1,000, maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 people infected, just based on just the spread across the crowds that would have been present for the JFK assassination.
Okay. We'll move on to the next segment. 2 days later. So same kind of scenario. 2 days later.
2 days later, America is fucked. Boom.
So 2 days. How far can a zombie travel in 2 days from your scenarios?
So assuming that the biting eventually gets to the trains and the trains run automatically. It's a little tough. It's a little tough. So, okay, to be fair, 2 days later, they're probably not outside of the neighboring states of Texas because they're just looking for flesh.
What big populations are near Dallas? Houston.
So Houston, yeah.
James Harden would cross them, and like they would not know.
Bite the shit out of James Harden, and then all the tall people are getting bit now.
James Harden was not alive in 1962.
That's true. And again, I chose 1962 because it's not like people are going to be like Googling zombie outbreak. They're going to be relying on newspapers and like radio in order to get that information.
I thought you were about to say you chose 1963 to avoid the James Harden situation.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
James,
handily it does avoid the James Harden.
James Harden is an offensive force, all right?
Yeah. The Globetrotters are fucked. James Harden lives. No, I honestly, I don't think it's going to get outside of Texas within the first 2 days, but Texas is totally boned and covered in rage virus zombies, and all of the subsequent states are trying to close their borders, but that's not going to work so well because, again, they're rage virus zombies just looking to screw up whoever they can. Not really consumed with flesh, just consumed with rage.
Let's go over to Vietnam here.
I'd say within 2 days, the infection is spread out of.
You got to map out. You got to map out.
Preparation, okay?
Yeah.
And it's spread out into Cambodia.
This guy Google mapped
I completely thought that Vietnam was like it's an island. So this is smart. This actually gives me a visual.
So by this time, the infection's already spread out to Laos. And it's even spreading out into Thailand. I mean, my geography.
I thought Laos was an island too. I'm a monster. I don't know anything racist. I just don't know about anything geographic, man. Come on, I can't even pronounce it.
Anyways, by 2 days, the infection is spreading out into the borders and is continuing to spread. Despite the casualties and despite the killings of infected, the rate of turning infection is just exponential.
I'm so pissed off that I didn't do an outbreak in Asia. So pissed.
I'm surprised everyone didn't do an outbreak in Asia.
Also racist.
What movie? Actually,
population, it's fucking science.
On the racism front, how many movies are placed in Asia?
But
maybe you need to watch more movies from Asia.
Huh? Look,
hey,
okay.
Train to Busan was like the best zombie movie in Asia, and it didn't get very far.
It's the only Asian zombie movie.
Okay,
that's not true. I saw this weird thing where like a Chinese dude was like hopping.
That's all. That's like all Asian.
That's the Chinese zombie. Yeah, like they do this weird hopping
hop
thing
weirdly,
and like you have to get a little bit of someone's hair.
I think you were walking most extreme elimination challenge.
It has that vibe. Why would it have that vibe?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna jump right to 28 Days Later.
Wait,
and because Paulo didn't, we're gonna talk about because I think what we really want to know about for Paulo's scenario is 28 Days Later. Has the zombie virus been able to jump continents or not? But 28 Days Later for everyone, we're really talking like outside of your scenario, like was it able to succeed where it was, but also has it spread to the rest of the world? Go ahead.
Am I starting?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. 28 Days Later, totally. It's not only has it spread within the US, it's in an airport. Mind you, look. How long is a pregnancy term? That's 9 months.
My God,
that's 9 months, dude. That's 9 months. That's all I know about pregnancy.
You don't know that for zombie pregnancy, dude.
I've seen Dawn of the Dead. Hey, she was in that nursery store for like a long time.
Not 9 months.
The only reason she died is because that other girl shot her in the head.
Dawn of the Dead took place over 1 month.
1 month. It doesn't take 1 month to fly from the US to China. All right. Once you get to China...
I want to know what it... Like, a plane with somebody infected, does it survive 12 hours?
Yes! Okay, so many people get sick over planes. Oh, I threw up in the toilet.
I got really sick.
I vomited blood all over the person next to me.
That's
to
fine.
be fair, okay, I did throw up and get real gross back from the Dominican Republic.
If you're talking about human nature... Like, they don't want other people to know that they're sick and they've gotten, like, they're throwing up blood and shit. Especially if they're traveling. They don't want that to interfere with their travel plans. They're going on vacation. All right? So, I want to go to China if I'm throwing up blood and I'm, like, shitting blood, whatever. Like...
I don't recall the shitting blood part of
whatever. Whatever.
I'm just shitting blood. I don't care. I'm going on vacation.
I'm going on vacation.
No. They don't pull off their pants so they can really show off that they're shitting blood.
I want to see the Great Wall of China, okay? So, like, I'm gonna make it. If I
was a pregnant woman recently infected with the zombie virus.
If I'm traveling to China, I'm gonna make it to China. God damn it! All right, and that's where I infect 80% of the population of the world.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie like Paulo and talk about how I'm gonna get my virus off of the American plains. I do recognize this is a flaw of my strategy. I cannot move beyond America. There's no way for the rage virus to go across. There's not the same facility.
The one question I have for you is, do they get to South America?
Huh? Absolutely. Absolutely.
What is the geography of South America that they make it past?
They just walk down Mexico.
Does it go all the way?
Yeah. Absolutely. But they can't get outside of that. They can't get outside of the Americas. I don't see any way for them to do that. The further north or south you go, there's diminishing returns because they're not going to be able to run through it.
That's a big economic center.
Where?
North America, South America.
No, it's true, but I don't have the population of Asia. I have no way for my zombies to
I love how we're all targeting Asia.
Okay, so let's go to Asia. Let's talk about Vietnam 28 days after a zombie outbreak. Where have you spread to?
So the spread keeps going throughout, at least throughout Asia by now. Not throughout the coastal regions, but more inland where it's connected.
I think he mentioned Laos.
And all the other countries as well. To the point it's spread through India to Pakistan. There's a lot of, I'm going to admit, there's going to be a lot of holdouts where there are armed people who are holding out, fighting the infected, killing the infected.
It is wartime.
Exactly. But the issue is they have not prepared for an incoming apocalypse. So they're going to starve out. And they're going to run out of resources, by which time they will just die out and the infected will continue along their rampage. And by this time, I'm predicting that not only whole of Asia, but also it's starting to spread into Europe, the fringes of Europe.
Can I just say that I think that there are far better zombie viruses that aren't represented in movies that I would have loved to have picked for this.
Like the voodoo zombie?
Well, no, not necessarily the voodoo zombie, although that's a classic zombie and I love it. No, but like the zombie reflected in the actual Max Brooks books.
Oh, like World War Z zombies.
Yeah, the World War Z books.
Yeah.
I wish that was the zombie that was reflected in the movies. It absolutely isn't. The zombie in the movies is like a hive mentality.
Went by the rules of the books for the movie because it's close enough in the movie.
It is not close enough in the movie. Come on.
Unfortunately,
so I went by the basic rules that it can't reanimate the dead, but it does have pack zombie abilities.
And that's in the movies. And that's in the movies. No, I'm not disagreeing with the. I like that option. I just wish the classic Max Brooks book zombie was available. I also wish the similar to concept The Walking Dead zombies. The idea that everyone is
infected, yeah.
And the second that someone's dead, they rise.
Too bad.
But yeah, exactly.
Okay, so deliberation time. This is tough. I think B-ball with yours. I think you do have a good point that I think North America and South America are yours. I think you get that. Yep. I don't think you're getting outside of that, but
I agree.
I think the rage virus. The big weakness is that they're regular human beings, but I think like with the population of that area and the technology at the time, like it does spread. You do get all of the region. Mm-hmm. Vietnam. I think the big difficulty is everyone is armed in the area. Again, you're doing with 1970s technology, 60s, 70s technology. So I think it does spread, and being in Asia is a certain advantage because if you get the continent, you get Africa, you get Europe, you get Asia.
You get half the 75% of the world.
So there's a lot bigger population, but it's really dependent on does it escape that immediate scenario because you have a helicopter with guns on it, you have Viet Cong with guns, and you have a lot of armed people in that area.
I would counter to that saying that you have a lot of armed people, but
counter arguments are done. goddammit! Over to Paulo's. I think it's a very big question of does this virus leap continents? I think you also have I think you have the potential to get all of North America and South America as well with the potential of leaping a continent.
I'm taking you with me, Paulo.
For this reason, I would say B-ball versus Paulo, very similar. You both get North America, South America, but possibility of getting whereas he doesn't.
Who's
So
faster?
I'm actually going to
faster?
give it to Paulo on faster.
Oh my god! I
Because they can also reanimate the dead a little bit more than the rage virus can.
Oh, I picked the wrong virus.
The rage virus being actual humans,
No.
I think, is a difficulty.
They're not humans. They had to be starved out.
They do starve out though.
Yeah.
But bring it back though, and you pick World War Z zombies who have an infinite energy source.
Mm.
They can't reanimate the dead.
I feel like
being in Asia with the World War Z zombies, I think Nehal wins this category. I don't think any of these takes the world, but I think World War Z in Asia takes the majority of the population.
I think you chose the right continent. I think you chose the right continent.
Right continent, right zombies virus.
Still feel like I beat Paulo.
But
wait a second. Wait, I lost?
Huh? No, I lost.
Oh, okay.
But I do really, really want to see JFK Rage Zombie.
Right?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Wait, time out. Who won?
Nehal won.
God damn it!
Yeah,
I thought I won.
I got third. But I'm a spiritual winner because I made sure that the wet dream of every rockabilly band ever created was created.
I stopped listening after Carson said I beat B-ball, and I thought I won.
No, you got second. Hard second.
Fuck!
I do very much recommend Zombiepedia as a website to go read about zombie viruses.
I'm gonna
it was actually
100% do that.
Way more information than I actually used while judging this. I would use more of that, but I didn't.
I love zombie rules.
Anyway, thanks guys for coming. We're going to end off this episode as we usually do with what movie are you looking forward to coming out in the next month? Nehal, how about you start off first?
All right, so I'm gonna go with a movie that I actually watched the previous version of, and I'm also looking forward to this. Not because it's it is nostalgic, but more so it's gonna be a stupid movie that I'm looking forward to just to pass the time. It's actually Jumanji, the new version. Some points of it, not too happy about the fact that it's now a video game. But I'm
also the fact that the Jonas Brothers are.
I like that it's a video game because it's like it was a board game when board games made sense, and now it's in a time when video games make sense. So it's like it's fine.
Makes sense.
I guess it caters to the target, but I'm curious about if they stay true to the universe, if the game is actually reflected. But I'm also looking forward to the humor, the comedy, and just the interaction between the four characters.
If they CGI face Robin Williams, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Oh, I'll lose my shit.
I don't think that would go that far.
They better not.
They might. Honestly, in
really?
this day and age,
well, and Robin Williams with a thick beard kind of looks like Bill Pullman with a thick beard. Kind of like.
Which is also Nehal's audio clip, by the way.
What? It's all
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman.
Ben, how about you for what's going up?
Okay, so it's the 20th anniversary, and Titanic coming back to theaters. Yeah.
First boner.
First boner. That's what they should call it, right? It'd be like Rambo, First Blood. It'd be like Titanic, First Boner.
Titan boner.
Yeah. I remember when it came out, I was 14 years old. I went and saw it with my family. There was that classic scene where she's like, paint me like one of your French girls. She rips her top off. You can see it. And then I remember, this is bullshit, but I totally did it. I don't know why. I turned to my mom because we went to see it as a family. I turned to my mom when that happens and I say, there's a classy way to do something. And then I crossed my legs. I don't know. I felt like I had to say something. I felt really awkward in that moment because I was like, dick rising. Like I needed to get away from there. But I said something, I'm like, there's a classy way to... Anyway, I'm looking forward to reliving that moment now as an adult.
Alright, Titanic.
I'm just going to let it fly. I'll be in the theater with like half one, I guess. Right?
Titanic, the remake, half one.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's going to be a good deal. I'm going to enjoy it.
Paulo.
I don't fucking know, man. Murder on the Orient Express. I know it's already out. I know absolutely nothing about even the original, but it looks interesting. Minus Johnny Depp. I don't like Johnny Depp for some reason. I don't know. For some random reason, I don't like Johnny Depp. But everyone else, Daisy Ridley, Rey, Star Wars. Everyone else, I like the movie Murder on the Orient Express. I have some knowledge of the original. Doesn't matter.
You did the justification that you're watching this movie because of Daisy Ridley and Star Wars.
No, wait.
And Star Wars is coming out.
No, because obviously I didn't want to pick Star Wars, but also I want to watch Star Wars. I'm watching it on my birthday. My birthday is December 19th. All you listeners out there, come watch it with me.
Also buy him presents.
Huh?
When is Star Wars coming out?
Star Wars is coming out December 17th? Something like that. I don't know.
Is that the...
No, December 15th. December 15th.
You're waiting 4 days. Wow.
Whatever. Anyways, Murder on the Orient Express. I'm not waiting because it's already out. Carson, what are you waiting for?
I've already seen Murder on the Orient Express, so I'm not waiting for that 'cause it's a fucking shit movie. So
have fun watching it.
All right, well, I'll just go shoot myself in the head.
I'm giving a shout out to Oats Studios. So Oats Studios is the brainchild of Neil Blomkamp, who did District 9.
Nice.
After a couple commercial failures, he decided, fuck it, I'm going to go make my own movie studio. And right now what they're doing is there's a YouTube channel where they are making 20 to 30 minute sci-fi short films with the hope of bringing enough buzz around them to get the funding for a full movie. And I've watched 3 or 4 of these so far that I think are actually pretty interesting. For me as a sci-fi fan, like I really like what they're doing of like they're creating ideas with good special effects. They released a trailer. They said they're going to release a new one called Lima soon. But they have a few that they've released already called Adam and Zygote and a few other ones which are actually like really cool sci-fi ideas, 20, 30-minute movies. I really recommend if you like sci-fi to check out Oat Studios. They're doing some really cool stuff right now. So I'm looking forward to Lima coming out, their newest one. Hopefully that comes out within next month. So check it out. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right. B-Ball, Nehal, thanks for coming by for this episode. I'm sure this is
thank you.
Way too long, but a really good time.
That
if you have made it this long, thank you as well.
Yeah.
Tune in next time.
Statistics show that 1 or 2 people are listening right now. So.
Fantastic.
For that one person who's listening right now, thank you.
And they're my mom.
Our moms.
Our moms.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.